It's Uldum time! Hello everyone! Welcome to the 12th episode of Mini Set Miracles, a series where I go back to every Hearthstone expansion that doesn't have a mini set and make one myself. In today's episode we'll be looking at the mini set I made for Saviors of Uldum. Saviors of Uldum told us about the battle between the League of Explorers and the League of Evil. Well, they're back at it again! Welcome to my mini set for Saviors of Uldum, which I've named Evil Ever After. I've made many new cards for this project, like this legendary for Shaman, Vesh, Plague Lord of Murlocs.
Come to stop us, have you?
Vesh is a 6-mana 6/6 legendary Murloc, and when you play him he will cost every Murloc you summon this game to give all your future Murlocs +1/+1, and this effect will stack. So once you summon your next Murloc, the Murloc after that will gain +1/+1, and then the next Murloc you summon will gain +2/+2, and so on. I also made this card that supports Vesh, Disturb Finrao. This is a 2-mana 3/4 undead Murloc with Rush, Reborn and Taunt, but it will overload for 2. If you summon this card after playing Vesh, the Finrao will be reborn with +1/+1. I should also mention that these cards will be following a certain rule set, as you can see here. But let's move on. Like the expansion before it, Saviors of Uldum separated all of Hearthstone's classes into two groups, the League of Explorers aka the good guys and the League of Evil aka the bad guys. I decided for these videos that Demon Hunter would join the good guys and Death Knight would join the bad guys. One of the mechanics the bad guys got in Uldum were the Plague spells. I made this new Plague spell for Death Knight. Plague of Undeath is a 7-mana shadow spell with 2 unholy runes that will destroy all minions, then resummon them and then destroy them again. Last time you guys had a lot to say about my mini set, but I've listened. This time the mechanics of the good guys and bad guys won't overlap, so there won't be any plagues for the good guys. And other mechanics like the lackeys will be exclusive to the bad guys, as you can see with these new lackey generating cards. Speaking of lackeys, this mini set also introduces one more lackey, the Never Set Lackey. This is a 1-mana 1/1 token minion like all lackeys, and this one's battle cry will resurrect a random friendly minion but with only 1 health remaining. You know when I said the mechanics of the good guys and the bad guys wouldn't overlap? Well, they won't, except for this single card, Maxwell Mighty Steed. Maxwell is Sir Finley's mount, and he is available as a Highlander legendary for Rogue. Maxwell is a 5-mana 3/5 beast with Rush, and if your deck has no duplicates, Max will let you discover a legendary minion from any class, and he will then gain stats equal to the minions. The flavor here is that the legendary minion mounts Maxwell. I figured it'd be fine to give the good team's Highlander mechanic to just one of the evil classes, as long as I use the character from the good team. Just like the evil warrior class got access to the Highlander mechanic in the Showdown in the Badlands mini set by using Bran, who was a good character. Speaking of Showdown in the Badlands, in order to fight the bad guys, the League of Explorers have been forced to dive into their past and use the mechanics of their former enemies. Excavate. I mean, they are archaeologists after all. But the League won't search for something as destructive as Azerite. Instead, they're looking for the mostly harmless Uldumite. This new version of Excavate works similar to the old version in that each trigger gives you a treasure of a higher tier. The Uldumite treasures are very similar to the Azerite treasures, with only a couple of differences in the lower tiers, mostly flavor changes, but the pool is also a little smaller. Each of the good classes also has a legendary Uldumite treasure that are brand new. The idea is that each of the good classes would get a card that excavates an Uldumite treasure and a card that triggers a bonus if you've excavated twice. Here you can see some examples of what that could look like. While the Uldumite excavate rewards are different, any classes that are able to excavate both Azerite and Uldumite can benefit from excavate synergy from both sets. Long-time viewers may also remember that every 3rd episode of Mini Set Miracles would feature mechanics from the 2 sets before it. So I've made these cards that use older mechanics like Overkill and Twin Spell. You might also remember the druid spell Bees from Saviors of Uldum. Well, for this mini set I made this spell for Death Knight, Knees! This is a 4-mana spell with 1 unholy rune that lets you choose a minion, and it'll then summon 4 1/1 limbs with Reborn that attack the minion. Saviors of Uldum reintroduced us to the quest mechanic, so I've made this neutral minion that interacts with your quest. The Questing Colossus is a 10-mana 8/8 undead with Divine Shield and Reborn, and it will cost 1 less for each turn you've been on a quest. The Evil Ever After miniset actually introduces another new mechanic, League of Explorers and League of Evil cards. These are 4 brand new neutral cards that are exclusive to the good and evil classes, represented by one of 2 banners underneath the mana crystal. I made a card for the good team that excavates an Uldumite treasure, and a card for the evil team that generates lackeys. The good team also gets this legendary High Explorer Magalas.
How deep you willing to delve?
Magalas is a 6-mana 4/5 neutral Highlander legendary. If your deck has no duplicates, Magalas will excavate an Uldumite treasure 3 times. The evil team gets Rafam, Lord of Plagues.
Let's make today evil!
This new version of Rafam is a 6-mana 6/6 neutral legendary that will let you discover a plague spell and reduce its cost by 5. In case you forgot, all the plague spells affect both players, but Rafam is himself immune to plagues. This means that he won't be destroyed by any of the plagues that destroy minions, but he will still cause an enemy minion to be destroyed if you cast Plague of Flames. He also won't be transformed into a Murloc from Plague of Murlocs, but he is still vulnerable to the poisonous weapon from Plague of Madness. If you guys like these new League of Explorers and Evil cards, it could be something I do again in the future. Okay, that's actually it for all the cards in this episode. I hope you guys felt this episode made up for the last one. Next week we're gonna skip Descent of Dragons, since that one basically already has a miniset through Galakrond's Awakening, which, while technically not a miniset, it built the foundation for what would become the minisets. That means there are only 2 more episodes left of Miniset Miracles, but perhaps this is not the end. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on the last 2 episodes. And with that, I bid you adieu.